Today I'm digging into how I am getting appointments with for sale by owners. We'll be digging into the script and the process that I am following. And I think maybe not as importantly, but importantly, why I'm going after for sale by owners right now. It's not a audience or an opportunity that I've pursued the last couple of years, but there are several reasons why I believe now is a good time to double down on or double back on that as another way of creating listing opportunities. If you're watching in the Facebook group, the live stream, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up if you're excited for today's topic. As always, if you have questions or something is unclear or maybe we need to double back on, review, etc., please drop a comment. Whether you're live in the Zoom room with me, you can drop that in the chat. Or if you're in the Facebook group, you can drop a comment. If you see me looking over here, it's because I'm watching the comments and the feed in the Facebook group and what that looks like. Last week on our session, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, I can't remember, I teased a new for sale by owner script, text script that was working incredibly well for me. And in fact, I still have 100% of the for sale by owners that I've sent this text script to, I've gotten an appointment with. I've been so busy with leads coming from a number of different places that I haven't sent it to that many, but today or tomorrow, and actually what I'm going to do live here is reach out to a few of them. Maybe, who knows, maybe we'll get an appointment live on the session. That would be fun. But so it's a small sample size, but it stands to reason that it will continue to work. And I'll give one simple reason why, and I'll explain that once I share the script. This is an aside. So this is its own topic, but I want to tease it for those of you that are interested. At the recommendation of a longtime friend and mentor in the industry, I started playing with a new AI, agent or tool called Manus, Manus. And I mentioned it to some of the folks in my EXP organization on Monday. And so in preparing for this session, I asked it to help me, here's the prompt I gave it. Can you put together some information backed by data on why now is a good time for real estate agents to add for sale by owners as a source of clients? And golly, it spit out an 80-page term paper on it. I didn't even have a chance. I haven't even had time to go through it. So the next thing I'm going to do is, and actually it'll go to work while we're doing this. Can you turn this into more of an executive summary? So that'll go to work. Maybe it'll be done doing that by the time this session is complete. But I was curious what it would spit out. I've been loving this new tool. I've been using it for a number of different things. In fact, either next week or the following week, I'm going to show you all how I used it to identify the most likely sellers in my zip code right now. And then also how I'm marketing to them. Not similar to, because they're not for sale by owner, but along the lines of what we're talking about here today, just to see who we can get an appointment with, get in front of, etc. And then for those of you also curious and interested, I had to hop off a call that came in right before this. I had to rush him off, but I got the appointment of another motivated lead source. I've been using several of them. And for those who are curious about that, shoot me a DM or a text or an email, and I'll share some of the motivated lead sources that I'm using that have been working really well, conversations and appointments from those. Today's topic, however, is for sale by owners. Now, I'm going to give the script, then I'm going to give some backstory of why I am returning to this as a source of business, and then also unpack the process I'm following. So what it looks like to get an appointment, what I'm doing on the appointments, and what I'm doing post-appointment to plant the seeds of getting a listing, okay? So the script is as follows. Morning, James. This is Josh Schoenly with eXp Realty. I have an out-of-state buyer who's very interested in the home you have for sale by owner. Would I be able to come take a tour sometime today or tomorrow? Okay. Now, the out-of-state buyer is one of the institutional buyers that we have with iList. It just so happens that I also used this script with 2 properties last week where I literally have an out-of-state buyer, not even the institutional buyers. I have someone who's moving from Maryland. He wants to be closer to his son, and these 2 properties fit the criteria. Point is, only say this if it's true. Do not, no silliness, no bait and switch, no whatever. Now, if you use iList, and if you missed the session 2 weeks ago, marathon session with Joe, if you missed that session, go back and check it out. Get a free 30-day trial at growwithjosh.com/iList. growwithjosh.com/iList. With this platform, you can make good on that offer. Now, not every property will qualify for offers. So depending on where you're at and some factors, you might want to check if there are institutional buyers that you have instant offers for before you send that message. Okay. But the bigger point is don't say this unless you can make good on it, right? Don't try the old bait and switch. Why does this work? Why does this work? What does a for sale by owner want? They don't want a realtor. Otherwise, they would have listed with a realtor. What they want is a buyer. We're offering that solution. Notice, the FSBO prospecting process I had been using several years ago was a 3-step process. I would ask them if it was available, and then I would ask them if they're open to a finder's fee. I don't care. In this, I'm going right for it. Let's get right to the chase. Would I be able to, because if they're not willing to pay, they'll probably tell me, yeah, you can come check it out tomorrow, but just so you know, we're not paying any commissions whatsoever, blah, 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 whatever. And honestly, I still don't care. I want to go see the house. I don't care because that's their stance today. And one of several reasons why I've gone back to reaching out to for sale by owners is in most markets, mine including, inventory is going up. And we are moving more, at least in my market, towards a balanced or even a buyer's market. What does that mean? That means that for the for sale by owners who the last few years could screw everything up with terrible pictures and just have no idea what they're doing and still get some pretty good offers potentially, that's going to be fewer and farther between. It's going to be harder for them to get showings, especially if their photography is bad or they make it difficult for people to schedule times to show, etc. So it's a great time to go after that audience and build that as a base. And the other thing is, with these iList institutional buyers, like you could get, if the offer works for the for sale by owner, you're repping the buyer, right? And then you're getting a listing on the back end. Like you don't ever have to convince them to list with you. But I'm coming at from both angles. Like if we can get the buyer and get the listing, if we can get the buyer repping the institutional buyer with iList, great. But if not, I'm comfortable and confident pivoting the conversation to how we can, the value proposition that I offer when they're ready to list. Okay. So that's why I am returning to for sale by owner as an opportunity in my market. So that's the script. The way you make good on the offer is with iList, or if you do have, whether it's it doesn't have to be an out-of-state buyer. It just so happens that this particular client that I was reaching out on behalf is moving from Maryland, which is out of state. But the iList offer, the institutional buyers, they're out of state as well. Where do you find the for sale by owners? I use My Plus Leads. So I get an email every morning with for sale by owner and expired data. But here live, I'm just gonna use Zillow. I'll show you how to use Zillow for free. And there's another resource or two that's free that I'll dig up and probably add to this document.
Josh, one of them is called Fizz Bonanza.
That's the one. Yep. And that's my buddy Chris Jones. I forget how you spell it, but maybe if somebody can find the spelling of it, it's a free app.
F-I-Z and then Bonanza.
F-I-Z. Here, I'll just pull it up here. Oh, whoops. Jeez Louise. What am I doing here? Bear with me. There it is. Here we go. F-I-Z Bonanza. Yeah, there you go. Free FSBO data. But in a minute here, I'm just going to pull up on Zillow. And I'm gonna text a couple of for sale by owners live here, and we'll see. Maybe we'll get an appointment. And then once I do that, I want to show you how easy that part of it is. Then we'll talk through and walk through what I'm doing in the appointment and post appointment to create some sense of reciprocity, and to get to plant the seeds of getting the listing when their timing is right. Okay. So if I go on to Zillow and I type in, you know what? I did Cumberland County recently. I'm gonna type in Perry County, which is just the county to the north of me. So that's the whole county. It's a very rural county, very rural. And so I'm gonna over here under the More drop down. I'm gonna deselect everything but owner posted and hit apply. Okay. Now notice there are not many for sale by owners here currently. There are 2, and that's funny. I just sold that house. How was that one on there? Maybe he had listed it for sale by owner before. Well, that's wild. I literally just sold that house. It closed on Monday. So strange. Anyway, squirrel. So if you click on the actual property, in most cases, right down here, you will see property owner info. Okay, property owner info. Now, if you're using iList like I am, you might start by pulling the cash offers before you reach out. You might want to do that. So let's explore what that would look like. I'm going over to my dashboard, and my dashboard looks a little bit different because this is the enterprise level, which again, you can get a free 30-day trial at growwithjosh.com/iList. But all I have to do, and Joe did a wonderful job of illustrating this 2 weeks ago, literally all I need is a property address to get started here. So I pop that in there, and it takes a few seconds to sometimes 15, maybe 25, 30 seconds, depending on how much usage there is. And so here's what came back. We have up here the AVM values. And notice there's a pretty wild variance between what Zillow says, 459, 800, the high end, and what Realtor and REAPI have it at 368. And the property's listed at 475. But you know what? I don't care. Right? You could say they're not realistic, blah, blah, blah. I want to plant the seed, okay? Because if whether they sell today, next month, next year, or next decade, I would like to be the one that helps them sell it one way or the other. Who cares? Let's not fight over price or whatever. Let's just go ahead and create the opportunity to get in person with them, have a conversation, and demonstrate the value prop. So what I've been doing is manually texting these for sale by owners directly from my cell phone. You could use your KB Core smart number. You could use a Go High Level phone number if you have that. You could use a Google Voice number, etc., etc. You can do any and all of that. I'm going to take a brief aside and share a meta strategy that I have found that has been useful for me. Many people, agents, business owners, want to scale or automate things immediately up front before they even know if the thing works. That's the wrong way to look at it. Use the easiest, least amount of friction way to start. And then once you have proof of concept, then look at, okay, where can I add leverage, automation, technology, etc., to scale up, okay? So, for example, I launched a new Facebook ad campaign, and it was like minimally viable product. I got the ad, and I had the lead form, etc., and once it started to work, then I built out the smart campaign, and I like cleaned it up and automated it, versus doing all that up front, and then no one opts in. Like, it's not something that someone's interested in. So figure out what works, and then figure out how to scale and automate and add leverage, etc. Not the other way around, okay? So for those of you wondering, like, why am I doing it from my phone or whatever? That's why. I want to figure out the most personable way to make this work, and then I can add scale and technology, etc. to it. So the number is 717-418-191. And I don't think it has the name here. No, it doesn't. But if I look here and I save the snapshot, it still doesn't have the name. I might have to, sometimes we have to use other tools and resources at our that we have availability for, which one in Bright is something called Remind. So Ryan is the name. I'm going to assume that it's Ryan posting it. I could be wrong. So be it. Hey, Ryan, this is Josh Schoenly, which, by the way, I wouldn't have to like actually hand type this. I have it in my notes to copy and paste and change the name, but whatever. With EXP Realty. I don't even know my script. I'm going to look at my script here. I
have a real estate buyer who's very interested
buyer who's very interested
in the home you have for sale by owner.
in the home you have for sale by owner.
Would I be able to come take a tour sometime today or tomorrow?
To come take a tour time tomorrow or Friday. I don't have time today.
Yeah.
There we go. Bang. And then I'm going to share my phone number. I'm sorry, my contact. I'm going to do probably 2 more just so we can see if I can get some replies and maybe even get an appointment here. If you search by county in Zillow, it'll only show that county. But all I have to do to get more is if I go outside that county and hit click, now this is all of the for sale by owners that are in the map on the screen here. Now, I can't service Middleburg, or maybe I could get to Middleburg. I don't know that I want to, but I can't service this one or whatever. But at least I got a few more here that I can check out and reach out to. Let's see here. See, I know that you got to be careful. Sometimes builders list their properties as for sale by owner, even though, I mean, they shouldn't be. But this one, I think, actually is a real for sale by owner.
Josh, you have a question?
No. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send 3 of these just to see if I get any replies while we're on here, and if not, I'm going to share the conversations that I had with the appointments that have already been set. So you'll at least have some context as to what the conversations look like. I guess the answer is yes, but I already texted this one. This one already signed with a realtor. The answer is yes, but after you've seen the property, you've gotten all the photos, et cetera, et cetera. If you do that too soon, you are very much at risk of repelling them, because these offers are unique and different, and you want to use the appointment to identify, you want to use context clues and questions on the appointment to help yourself identify which of the offers in the institutional buyer offers are going to be the best fit for them. Okay. So I'm gonna double tap on that in a minute, but I want to at least send a couple more of these text messages to see if we can get some conversations. I already had an appointment with that one. Had an appointment with that one. We just texted that one. This one is listing. I had an appointment with that one. Ooh, I haven't seen this one before. Let's see here. No by owner. It's only been on 4 days. Okay. I'm going to message this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy my text that I just sent Ryan, and that way I can just paste it and edit it. I'm typing in the phone number here, and I'm not even going to look up the name. I just said, hi, this is Josh Schoenly with eXp Realty. I have an out-of-state buyer who's very interested in the home you have for sale by owner. Would I be able to come take a tour? Boom. Okay. So that's 2. I'm going to do 1 more. Then I'll share example conversations of properties that I've already seen and how I am proceeding with them. I'm trying to look for some of these are really far for me. Oh, I like this one. Let's see here. Ooh, and it's been on for 20 days. Ooh, it might be getting antsy. All right. So last one, and then I'll get into some combos that I've had. So 6630, and I'm gonna paste that in, and voila. Okay. So we got 3 of them sent. We'll see if any of them respond while we're live here, and we'll take it from there. Now, I'm going to pull up a snapshot of one that I am waiting on the final numbers for an offer. So this is one that let me think of this string here. I saw this one Monday, I think, and I texted midweek last week. That's when I saw it on. Actually, no, this one is in my neighborhood. So I was walking with my wife and I saw their for sale by owner sign, which is what obviously alerted me to this. And then I saw it on Zillow, or I got it. No, I didn't get it. I see it on Zillow. I got my morning email from My Plus Leads, and I was like, oh, that was a good reminder. So I texted them the exact script. I said, morning Parshu, this is Josh Schoenly with eXp Realty. I have an out-of-state buyer, blah, blah, blah. We know that. She said, yes, showing starting from Sunday. So I sent that Wednesday. They weren't allowing showings until Sunday. And I said, got it. I'll reach out later this week to confirm a time. Or are you hosting an open house, ? Because I don't know. I thought the way she was wording that maybe they were doing an open house. She said, we scheduled for Monday afternoon. Got it. Could I swing by Monday around 2? See you at 2. Still good, blah, blah, blah. Now, so I went. I took a bunch of photos. So I had all the photos that these institutional buyers are going to want. They had some photos on Zillow. A, the photos were terrible, which is not uncommon for sale by owners. And B, there wasn't, they were missing photos that these institutional buyers are going to want to see. So I took 65 photos. The way I do that just from an organizational perspective is I take those photos and I put them in a Google photo album. So I create an album on Google Photos and I add all the photos in there. So I have an easy way to share them with all the institutional buyers, or I'll share another example of one that was for my out-of-state guy, the guy coming from Maryland. So I had an easy way to just share all the photos with him. It's the same thing, right? It's just an easy way to share the photos. And my photos are not professional photos, but if I end up getting the listing, we're going to do professional photos, right? This is just to show what we have. So I went and got these photos and I submitted the property through my cash offer request platform. The property's vacant. They've already downsized. I got the full story, right? So like the sell and lease back, that's off the table. The freedom lock, that's off the table, right? I can immediately eliminate some of these options here as possibilities. So it's vacant and they're actually have it priced, I think, below what it's worth, even in the as-is condition. So I need to act quickly on this because somebody else is probably going to come and grab it if not. Now, what's working against them is with fewer buyers in the market, and I saw a study this morning that Redfin, who knows this data, you can make up this data, but according to Redfin, I think I have this right. According to Redfin, there is 34% more sellers actively listed than there are active buyers in the market right now. I don't know, whatever. But point is, when there are fewer buyers in the market, they become pickier. If this same property, that same property in my neighborhood 18 months ago, it'd be a bidding war. And the buyers would overlook the fact that it's dated and the backyard needs cleaned up and the deck's falling apart. Like they would just overlook all of that stuff. It's not so much the case today. Okay. Another reason why I think adding this for sale by owners as a source of business makes a ton of sense. Anyway, I got all those pictures. I got it submitted. I'm waiting on the final paperwork from one of the iBuyers. Okay. And as soon as I get that, I'm going to present that to them. And then my alternative is, if this doesn't make sense for you, I am confident that I can help you net more by us seeing if we can beat this offer on the open market, right? So that's going to be my pivot. I'll show one other example. Actually, I'll do two other examples of actual properties that I've gone and seen, and then what has transpired since then. Let me see here. 89. This is a new construction home in a community that they're still building new. And I went and saw the house, and what I've discovered between the time that I set the appointment and I went and saw the house is the sister is a real estate agent, or a relative is. So if she lists it, it's going to be with her. And that's, I don't know that there's a way that I could have vetted that up front. But anytime I'm doing something like this, I'm just trying to get reps. I'm just trying to get reps. I could look at that as, oh, I wasted all this time. Or I got an opportunity to get better at building rapport with sellers and asking difficult questions and whatever else, right? So it's all how you frame it. Anyway, same thing. I took a bunch of photos, I submitted it, and I have a final offer coming in that I'm going to present to her, but it's not going to work for her. She owes too much. I think her sister's going to list it like a flat fee just to get it in the MLS. But again, it's reps, right? And then one other one.
Can I throw something in there too, Josh?
Please do.
Yeah. So if you go to this a house, take the pictures and stuff. You could also offer to do a video, just a walkthrough, quick social media video. Then you leverage that. You go put it on your social media, your sphere. Everybody's going to see that when you post it. So it's not a waste of time. It shows that you're out there doing stuff.
Yep.
You could also offer to do a free floor plan using Kubicasa. And what I'm doing is using InstaShow, put a sign in the yard and pick up all those unrepresented buyers too. So that's when I'm hitting them with these free things. But I think that video is like a good thing where you're not wasting time. You're creating some media.
Yeah. That's a good shout. And I'm gonna tie that in to just like whether you use my script and my process or whatever, just like big picture, here's how I think you should approach winning for sale by owner listings. Okay. This is the last one. I saw this one on Friday. I texted the number with the Zillow link. It's a brother and sister who are helping dad sell the house. He's in a retirement community now. And this one did actually fit the criteria of my guy from Maryland. So I went with him in mind, took pictures, etc. He said, well, it's outside of what I want, and it doesn't have central air, and it's got oil, hot water. He really wants forced air or central air, whatever. It didn't work for him. But I've already been there. Why would I not submit it? And so I'm getting finalized offer that I'm going to present to them as well from these institutional buyers. The daughter is who showed me the property. I was able to build some rapport with her as well. And she made it very clear that they're motivated, even though they have it priced too high right now. They really, at least she wants to be done with it. Okay. So here's the big picture process. Do whatever you can to get the appointment. This is working incredibly well for me to get in front of, literally have 100% thus far. Okay. Number one, get the appointment and use that appointment to collect information or even media, as James recommended, that you can use to submit for actual like final offers with these institutional buyers. Use it to build rapport, ask good questions, determine motivation. Is there an opportunity are they looking to relocate in the area? Could you pick them up as a buyer? What's going on? Is the property vacant? Are they still living there? Do they need a unique solution because they'd really like to buy the next house before selling this one? Whatever the case may be, right? Like understanding what the situation is. And then here's the big one. Don't try and go for the listing there. Do not. Definitively, do not. Look for ways to be of value and service after the appointment to create reciprocity. One of the ways that I have done that with all of these that I've been in person with so far is really simple. It's not like rocket science, but it's working because it's created more conversation for me with them. In Pennsylvania, there's a seller's property disclosure that every homeowner must complete when selling their property in Pennsylvania, whether they sell for sale by owner or with a realtor. And so part of my follow-up after is like the Columbo, oh, by the way, I forgot, I didn't ask you when I was there. Do you have a copy of the seller's property disclosure? And there zero of them had it for me yet. And so then and I'm even doing this in SkySlope where I'm adding the address and the name and stuff and sending it to them where they could even fill it out electronically to save themselves some time and effort. So looking for some way to be of value and service to them before you're ever asking for them to list or to work with you. And then the next thing is like demonstrating that you're for real by bringing an offer. That's also another way. And when they scoff at the offer or deny it, then you can pivot. Hey, I totally get it. These offers only work, or these offers don't work for everyone. It typically needs to be a unique situation or scenario. We've had a ton of success using these offers as backup offers and crushing them on the open market through our marketing processes. If or whenever the time is right, I'd love the opportunity to walk you through what that would look like with me. That's the pivot. After you've had a conversation, you've met them in person, you've done some work to create a sense of reciprocity, you've demonstrated your value in that You've got offers, etc. And even if it's not an offer. So for example, the last one I had up on the screen, I told them flat out, the client that I had reached out on behalf of, the out-of-town client, the deal breaker for him was the oil hot water heat. He really wants forced air and he doesn't want to have to convert it over, right? So it's a real authentic answer. It wasn't some like bait and switch kind of thing. And so I've had success in the past following those principles. In other words, conversation, appointment, value, then offer. Conversation, appointment, value, then offer. That has worked for me in the past with for sale by owners. It's been a long time since I've been pursuing that as a source of business, but I think it makes sense. The timing is right to revisit that and go after that bucket. And so that's why I'm sharing that, and that's why I'm doing the work. Somebody was chiming in there. Go ahead.
That would be me. I'm sorry, Josh. I don't mean to
No, all
interrupt
good.
you. I got the first one, conversation, then what?
Conversation, appointment,
Appointment.
value, then offer. Yep. And I literally just made that framework up like as we were talking here. But it's what I follow, right? And honestly, like it works for everything. Okay. So if you're running a new ad to get leads, that's essentially your conversation starting, right? Like you're putting something out there that is of interest. Then you make good on that. You provide the value before you ever offer anything. Don't offer something before you give value first. Okay, some great questions here. Juanita, look at this. I used your text script the last couple of days and sent to 10. 8 responded, 4 appointments set for this week. Impressive. Well done. Kudos. And I bet those other 6 that you didn't set, if you want those, if you keep following up with them, you'll probably be able to get appointments with more of them. Are you sending them an iList link with the offers? So I know I already answered that, but I just want to double back on that. Only if it makes sense down the line in the process. But really what I'm doing is I'm sending them the offer that I think, based upon the context clues that I gathered and the actual information they shared with me, is going to be the most relevant. So example, the one in my neighborhood, it's already vacant. And I know with some minimal work, curb appeal, cleaning up the backyard, fixing the deck, paint, etc., it could sell for north of 600 and it's listed at 490. So I know what offer is going to be best. We want to do the cash plus repairs offer, right? We'll get them some of their equity now. They have plenty of equity. We'll get some of them now, and then they can partner with us to flip their house kind of thing. But I wouldn't directly, I'm finding more and more that if you just send them the link to their dashboard without any context, most people are just confused. Now, I'm not opposed to sending them the link that has their home values and where they can play with the conditions and stuff. There's 6 things that they like sliders they can play with that adjust the value. That you should absolutely, or can and should absolutely send. It's not relevant to for sale by owners, but I'm saying within iList, that's better than to just blindly be sending them the link with their offers. The link to the drive. Yes, I'm sorry. I am grabbing that link. And for those of you watching or listening after the fact, if you want the link to the document that has the script and some additional context, etc., you can shoot me a DM or drop a comment wherever you're watching this, or just reach out to me directly. You can email me, josh@growwithjosh.com. Let's see here. Would it be recommended to check if the phone number is on the do not call list? Nope. They're actively listed for sale by owner, and their number is publicly being promoted, which they have to agree to when they put it in Zillow. That, I'm not an attorney, and I don't play one on Zoom, okay? But my understanding is that is not at play here, especially because I'm not soliciting them to list their property. I am reaching out to them about the home they have listed for sale by owner because I have an out-of-state buyer that is interested and wants to make an offer, which is 100% factually accurate. James? Oh, yeah. Thank you. Just posted the actual script there. So basically, you're submitting all of the for sale by owners you visit to an iList iBuyer. When do you give the for sale by owner the iBuyer info you get? As soon as I get a finalized offer, I'm reviewing it with them. Now, you could give them, I'm waiting till I get a finalized offer. Like the preliminary numbers that you get when you submit it usually are, I don't know. In most cases, they stay pretty much the same. And I think there's variances based upon markets, et cetera. But I want to have more concrete number. Like I don't want to present and they're like, okay, we think and then I submit it for final offers and then it's completely different. That makes me look bad, right? That's hard to reverse my way out of. So I'm going to take the extra 24, 48, 72 hours to get the final numbers from Zoomkasa or Zudilio or QuickBuy or whichever offer makes the most sense in that scenario. Are you getting permission to sell on or listing agreement before representing, or no, I'm not, Ron. Are you getting permission to sell or listing agreement before presenting offer, or are you representing the buyer and it doesn't matter? So the iBuyer offers on iList, I'm repping the buyer. That's the way those are structured. We don't need a listing agreement. Now, if they're going to accept the offer, there's obviously other documentation that's required, okay? But that's a little bit cart before the horse. Ooh, I got a new cash offer lead while we were on here from an ad that I'm running that I'll have to share on a future mastermind. Oh, this could be a good one. I like it. Landisburg. All right. Yeah, Easy Street's another one. Low. I don't think they don't offer in my market.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know they're been pretty good and active. Even after we submit one property, they'll reach back out and say, hey, do you got any more? And they'll constantly keep following.
So here's the thing with for sale by owners. For most of you, this one pillar alone is not going to wildly move the needle for you. But if you're using iList and you want more listing opportunities and you are embracing the fact that the number one KPI, if you want to sell more homes, the number one KPI, key performance indicator, is how many conversations you're having per day and per week. That is it, period. That is number one. This is a great way to increase your conversation count, your number of conversations. And like maybe they list with you, maybe they don't. Maybe they refer you somebody. Maybe they buy with you. Maybe they accept the iBuyer offer and you're repping the iBuyer and then you get the listing on the back end. Shay, my man, what you need?
I just wanted to jump in real quick and say, also with for sale by owners, if it's anything like my market, be prepared to have 7 conversations or 7 touches before you even start breaking the ice. Everybody and their dog is beating them up with the same thing, and iList will help you separate from the pack, but understand and make sure that you have a good follow-up, because it's going to take at least 7, and plan on 2+ weeks of conversations and follow-ups, maybe 3. And most people end up giving up on their follow-up after 2 or 3 attempts. The follow-ups where the money's made, guys.
So also take for sale by owner out of that and insert old expireds and insert the motivated seller leads that I teased at the beginning and insert the new construction homebuyer leads that you're generating and insert your sphere of influence and insert your past clients. It's not a fixed process. It's a continuum. And sometimes it'll take 3 conversations and you get the listing and you're good. And sometimes it takes over 14
Sometimes
weeks.
it'll take 1. It happens. One of the best things that I'm doing on expired listings is I have a follow-up that'll follow up for a week and a half, and then it will go quiet, and then it will go back again after 3 weeks once everybody is quit calling them to see who's still available. And I get a lot more 3 weeks after than anything else. And they sometimes remember that I reached out to them right after, but nobody keeps that follow-up and everybody else has died out. I get more conversions at that 3-week period than right off the bat.
So one of our upcoming topics is going to be expireds. And what I'm finding, I don't even try on the front end. Good on you, Shay, for trying on the front end. The front end is such a red ocean.
Mhm.
I'm just waiting 30, 60, 90 days to see who's obviously they're not listed anymore. But after all of that has died down and a script that I'm going to do a deep dive on this again at some point here in the June mastermind sessions, but a text script that I started using yesterday to old expireds that I have in basically my CRM that's for cold marketing. KV Core is for my warm audience. I started using this yesterday on about 500-ish old expired leads. I don't know the count exactly yet, but it ended up I've had to submit now. This is an old expired. That's an old expired. Let's see here. Old expired. So I don't know, 20? I've had maybe not 20, maybe not quite 20, north of 15 that I had enough of a conversation with that I submitted their property for offers so I could bring those offers, present them, and then when they don't work for the client, which is going to be 90 to 95% of the time, would you be totally opposed to see if seeing if we can beat those on the open market? So this is the open to offers playbook, which also works great with your existing seller leads that you have. If you have home value leads or any old homeowner leads, this playbook is continuing to crush it. And literally the only thing that I changed to this to make it for old expired is the word still, because they had previously listed the property. So I just add curious if there's any chance you'd still be open to entertaining offers on your property at street address. And literally all day yesterday. And I got a bunch of stops and solds and whatever, but then I could clean up that database as well. Who was that? Low?
Josh, that's me, man. Hey, just so you know, that is pure gold right there, because no one's going back to last summer to see who expired. No one's calling those leads right now at this point. So those people that was selling last summer probably are still in their emotions after last summer's not selling, and no one's calling them right now. They probably had calls right after they expired, but now they're probably not getting touched.
Yep. And again, I'm not suggesting, like, I've just made a decision. I'm not playing in the red ocean. Sunday morning, I got an email from My Plus Leads, and there was like 50 expired listings that expired at midnight on May 31st. And I don't know if they were getting bombarded on Sunday, but I'm sure they were getting bombarded on Monday. I'm sorry. I don't really care for that. And also, I know that the value prop that I'm offering isn't congruent at that point. I've got an offer for you. Why the hell didn't you bring the offer 2 days ago before I expired? So it's not relevant. So I'm waiting until they cool off and then trying to demonstrate value in a different way. I'm not saying that's right or wrong or whatever, but I just sold a listing that was an old expired. I have one that we just got the price reduction that's going to get it sold as well. That was an old expired. And I feel like I have one other that has one other settlement this year at least came from an old expired without like even a systematic strategy for it. Just shotgunning every now and again.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
One last thing, just for clarification. I don't call right when they expire. I've got a series of 3 video texts that I send that actually help separate. And it starts out with, I know you're getting blown up, and this is my way to respect your time and life and work. If you are interested in interviewing an agent to get this done, let me know. And I've had a lot of success with that. But no, I agree. I wouldn't call during that red ocean period either. But
I love that.
Good things.
I love
just
that.
with the video text saying, hey, this is an attempt to save you time and not blow you up because I know you're busy.
I love that. Are any of them case studies or examples of you helping expired sellers?
The second one is.
Smart.
The
right?
first one is just saying, hey, I know you're receiving 1,000 calls. I'm trying to respect your time and come at this in a different way. I would love to help you. I'd love to interview for the position when you're not feeling overwhelmed with 1,000 agents. The second one goes in with case study. And the third one is a little bit about being an active agent versus passive agent. And then it stops for a little while and has that dip until week 3, because I want them to remember my name and my face and then give them some time and then come back at it.
Love it. Love it. And for those who are wondering, is that happening? Is that series in KV Core or?
I created it in KV Core. It doesn't exist normally in KV Core. I've been doing a massive amount of follow-ups, just creating them from scratch and seeing quite a bit of success by making my own follow-ups versus the boilerplate stuff to the in KV Core now.
I'm sorry, Shay. I more meant, is KV Core what's sending it to them, or are you
Yes.
manually
Yes.
sending? You've created custom campaigns.
Yes.
The KV Core, it's going out through KV Core.
Yeah, I record it through BombBomb and send it through KV Core. That's correct. Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Yep. All good. All good. I'm sure some were wondering about that. Shay, I'll have to let you know. I would love to coordinate with you what Wednesday to do the deep dive on expireds, because as with anything in this business, there's more than one right way to do this. And so having context and examples, I'm going to share what I'm doing and what's working for me as far as that goes. But I would love, and I'm sure everyone here would also love to see or hear more about that strategy that you're using. With
Well,
them
and I'm
as
always happy to collaborate with you or anybody else on this call. We have a good time.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Any other, I do have a hard out at the top of the hour, but anyone else have any other questions, comments, et cetera, as it relates to for sale by owners or any of the topics that were woven in here? Oh, you know what? Let's go back to my little
Josh,
AI.
I was
Go
interrupted
ahead.
for a minute. I was interrupted for, so I'm not really sure it answered my question regarding for sale by owners. If they don't have money to do the repairs, but they want to do repairs, what cash program would meant for them?
Do they have equity?
Yes.
So then any of them. There's several of them. So man, I have too many links and tabs open.
Hey, Josh, they can potentially go call you for potential HELOC.
Right. So they could tap equity to make those repairs. They could use Zoomkasa. They could do the Cash Plus with repairs. And there may be others in your market. So there are certainly creative solutions to this. And it's really about, it seems like you already have this information. In other words, like building the rapport in the relationship and identifying what is the pain point, and then what are the assets available to us? Do I have equity? Do I have credit? Do I have whatever? And then positioning yourself as the problem solver in the scenario. The trickier one is if they don't have equity. Like that then it becomes problematic if the property needs repairs to sell and they don't have equity. That where it can get a little bit trickier. That's where it can. Larry, thank you. Larry says, great info, Josh. Thank you. Jan says, great session. I appreciate that as well. Marilyn said 203K. Yeah, they could do. The problem with that scenario, if they're planning to sell it, is the financing options can be a little bit more limited. If we're saying up front, we're making these repairs to sell it. But those options do exist. So Isabel, if you want to explore in more detail, I'd be happy to, but I would certainly check what the offer options are on iList first, because they may be pleasantly surprised.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, let's take a vote. Next week, I'm gonna put this up for a vote. Next week, do we do expireds? Do we do the motivated seller lead providers that I've been testing and using? Or do I share my new homeowner seller cash offer centric Facebook marketing options? 3 options. And if you're getting this after the fact, you can drop your vote below. We're going to cover all of them. It's just a matter of what we're going to do first, right? So we've got expireds, homeowner centric. Ooh, all of them. Joanna, we're definitely going to cover all of them. All right. I'm going to let those votes come in. They'll probably come in over the comments. I'll tally them and I'll make the final decision probably Sunday night. That's usually when I decide our topic. I appreciate all of you. If any of you want some help, or I'll mention again, for those of you who are curious about the motivated seller lead providers that I've been testing and having a ton of success with, just reach out to me. I'm happy to share those. And we will be, whether it's next week or sometime this month, I'll share all of that on this session one way or another. Thank you all. Use what I shared today and then come back and share your results and success like Juanita did, which I'm going to end with this. Again, I know I already said this, but it's pretty good. Juanita said, I used your text script, the FSBO text script, the last couple of days, sent it to 10 FSBOs, 8 responses, 4 appointments. Not too shabby. All right. Thanks, everybody.